Hello, welcome to Joos. My name's John McDonald, and today we're going to make an arrangement that would look great sitting at your doorstep or inside, and it's a pumpkin arrangement. So I'm really proud because I actually grew this pumpkin, and I think it's quite fun. So what I've done is I've hollowed it out and kept the lid, and we've just made that nice and clean on the inside. So I used like a big plastic spoon, kitchen spoon was the best idea. So the thing about pumpkins is you can hollow them out, you can put an arrangement in, and it may or may not last. It really depends on the pumpkin, it depends on what you do with it. But it's a bit like fruit. If you add metal or wires or kind of non-natural materials, it's much more likely to go mushy quicker. So if you're going to use anything to skewer it or anything, you're better using canes or natural materials. So you could line this with plastic, but to be honest, I don't know if we necessarily need that. So I am going to use floral foam, and I'm just going to use a bit of old foam for going in the base. This has got a really good skin, and I've not had to cut the bottom, so I'm not anticipating any water leaking out. And we can just wedge that in. Now if you want to, you could actually drop a container in there, you could use chicken wire. It's up to you, it's not a problem. But we've created a bit of a base for our flowers by using the foam. So maybe this is a good moment as well to add some water. And we need to decide what's going to be the front. So this was really the front, I think. Trying to remember which way the lid went. So what I want to do first is I want to wedge our lid on. So I've got some bamboo canes. And this is really just to secure it and hold it. So this is allowing us access to the foam for making our arrangement, but we're still keeping that lid as a feature, which is a shame to lose. And we want that to be quite secure, which it is. So we've got our base, we've got our foam, now we can look at our flowers. And what I've got is I've got quite a mix of different flowers. I've got a little bit of grape foliage, some grasses, some dahlias, fabulous piece of celosia, which is really nice. I've even got, now this is artificial, just an artificial branch with some acorns, some old sunflower heads, seed heads, and some little roses. So we're going to use these really just to create our design. So we might as well just bring them out. And we can start to place. So when I think of like a pumpkin arrangement, I think of it being quite messy and quite open and wild. So we'll go with that. This is one of the grape leaves. And just a few pieces of greenery first is a good way to start. So we're starting to build in our design. Now I did have quite nice little Bergenia leaves. And I just picked these because they've got perfect colour. Sure, I had more. Yeah, they're really cute. And what we can do is just put them in as like a little grouping. Is quite sweet. Now, this is a piece of canna. So the great thing with this kind of design is you can really just use whatever materials you've got in the garden from round about. It doesn't have to be shop bought, looking shoppy in any way, shape or form. These I've got growing in the garden and they're like a wild sunflower or a perennial sunflower or an artichoke. I'm not quite sure because it wasn't me that put them there. They just sort of turned up. They've also basically taken over to quite a high degree, and that's fine. They've actually been really useful and fun. Now this is zebra grass. We can just pop that in. So be careful when you're adding materials that you're not going to skewer right down through the actual pumpkin. We don't want to do that. And for using this piece of material, you could cut it, or you can just put a bend. So the problem with cutting artificial material is that you're basically making it short. And do you want it to be short forever? Whereas if we just put that bend on it, it's going to be there that we can reuse it at a later date. So our bigger flowers are these dahlias. And this is really just the last of the dahlias, sadly. And I've got two different types. I've got this one, orange one, and a kind of peachy version. And they've both performed really, really well this summer. I do have one other one that has been brilliant, and that's been a kind of pom-pom purple version. And that's been really good. So we're just building this up. So you don't want everything to just come out the front. You want to have a little bit of depth, things recessed, make things a little bit interesting. And we can even bring this forward a wee bit. It's a little bit like fireworks. And I think these old sunflowers look quite suitably scary and dead, which is good for Halloween. So we can have them peeking over the back. I'm really just building this up and making it absolutely mad. And in a way, this is working as an all-round arrangement as well, which is kind of good. But I think this would look really good on the step of your door for people who are turning up to your house. And you could make this in advance quite easily. I wouldn't make it too far in advance, but you could definitely make it the day before, no problem at all. These are just a few dried grasses from the garden. And I really want to use this celosia. Now, a lot of people basically remove the leaves. If the leaves are in good condition, then it's fine. If they're in any way tatty or damaged, you're better just removing them. And celosia is quite good now. When it first, years ago, came out, it was a flower that was easily damaged and wouldn't last. It's a lot stronger nowadays, but the trick with it is just not to damage it in any way. So just be careful how you handle it so that it doesn't get bruised or bashed. Makes a big difference. So this also kind of falls into the category of more is more. So why make the arrangement and be skimpy? You want it to be quite full and full and fabulous, I think is what we want. Now, I do have one or two of these little roses, And we're just going to pop them in. And these were just actually little cheap supermarket roses, but they do the job. What I tend to do is let all the flowers have a good drink overnight. So recut them, use some flower food, give them a really good drink, and that makes a huge difference for the strength of the flowers and how they're going to perform once you make an arrangement. Still got a little bit of that. Now, quick tidy up. And there we go. We've got a simple arrangement, which is kind of really celebrating the seasonality of this time of year. The colours, the abundance of materials, some dead material as a contrast, our gorgeous big pumpkin, and something that's really just fun. So whether you make it or you get the kids to help, I think everyone's going to enjoy this design. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, click here to subscribe. Tap the bell to get notifications of all our new videos. We have new videos every week, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.